What's going on, guys? BASSFZz here, and in today's video I'm going to take an in-depth analysis slash criticism of the main characters in Star Wars The Force Awakens. I'm mostly going to focus on the character Rey, but I'm going to jump onto Finn and Kylo Ren a little bit to really help talk about the issues that I have with this character and this overall story in Star Wars The Force Awakens. So if you were coming off of my film review, you know that I said the story was very vague, very surface level story. We did not get a lot of in-depth characterization in this film, and that is fully seen in our protagonists, Finn and Rey. So this video is going to focus mostly on Rey, and we're going to ask ourselves a very important question, and we're going to discuss the problems here. Is Rey a Mary Sue? And the answer to that question is yes, Rey is a Mary Sue. Now, some people who have never read fan fiction or written a story probably don't really know what a Mary Sue is. So let me explain that to you guys as to the best of my ability. A Mary Sue is more or less, a lot of people characterize it as a perfect character, and that's not really so much what the Mary Sue is. Originally, Mary Sue was a character that appeared in a fan fiction, which was more of an author-inserted character into the canon of the story they're writing. For example, like Star Trek or Harry Potter. The problem with the Mary Sue was the fact that the character was perfect. The character had no weaknesses, and thus the story loses tension. The story is no longer a story, it's just very boring. And that's the issue with the Mary Sue character. The Mary Sue character is so perfect that the story is boring, and so originally Mary Sues were in fan fiction, but a lot of people have expanded that definition, and the Mary Sue is usually a female character. They say a Gary Stu is the male equivalent of a perfect male character that's not challenged by the narrative. But that's pretty much what a Mary Sue is. And is Rey a Mary Sue? Yeah, absolutely. She really is a Mary Sue. And there's a lot of things that could have been done a lot better than what we got. So I'm going to try to do my best to avoid the feminists, social justice bullcrap here, and really focus on why this is a gigantic problem in storytelling and why you, viewer, if you're a writer, why to avoid doing these things. Let's break the character Rey down. So, Rey, she was born somewhere, Lord knows. She was left on Jakku, raised by who knows. She's really good at fixing things because she's a mechanic. She has the Force because who knows. And that's it. Who knows? That's Rey. We don't know anything about Rey. That is a gigantic problem. Why is it a gigantic problem? Because we have nowhere to compare. We don't have a starting position to compare the end of Rey to the beginning of Rey, right? Because she's already perfect. She's already a great mechanic. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to break apart how I began to realize Rey was a Mary Sue by saying that some things are legitimate and some things are not. What I mean by legitimate is some things are consistent with the character we've been shown, other things just make the plot advance. So, a lot of people say Rey's good at fixing the Millennium Falcon. She's a good mechanic. Perfectly fine. That makes perfect sense. She was a scavenger. The film established she was a scavenger. The film established she looked at parts. That's okay. She's a good pilot. Let's give that one. I give that to her. That's okay. The film has established that she knows her way around ships. That's perfectly fine. That's A-okay. She's really good with the blaster rifle. Now, this is something that just happens in movies. The main character, who's never had a gun before, is a perfect shot. That's okay. It took me out the movie for a little while. That's okay. That's fine. She's got that. She starts fighting off guys, at the beginning of the film to show that, she's an independent woman, don't need no man. Okay, you know what? I had no problems with that when I first watched the film. No issues. She's good with the bow staff. That's cool. Dandy. It makes sense that over time she would gain some skills. No problem there. That is okay. Then we get to where she beats Kylo Ren when he tried to invade her mind. I gave her that one. That's not when I start thinking she was a bit of a Mary Sue. I was like, I just kind of figured that she beat him through force of will. That's what that was, So I was like, okay, that's cool. Then she does the Jedi mind trick, and I'm like, I'm like, what? How did she even know she could do the Jedi mind trick? You know, what would have been consistent with her character that we've seen was if she somehow picked the lock, if she had like a pin that she kept on her that she used to help repair some things around the ship or to help her scavenge things. That would have been consistent. But her automatically just knowing how to do the Jedi mind trick because reasons? I don't know. Makes me start thinking, okay, it breaks my suspension of disbelief for a second. For some odd reason, Anakin's lightsaber is somehow in the film. Let's completely neglect the fact how that happened. But somehow, Anakin's saber calls to her because reasons. There's no reason why. It's just because. Okay. And then we get to the part of the film that destroyed my suspension of disbelief, and that was the final duel with Kylo Ren. Now, I was sitting here arguing for the past couple of days with a bunch of people on Jeremy John's channel about how that fight was bullcrap and why, for the sake of the narrative, we have a problem. She outduels Kylo Ren. Woman's never picked up a lightsaber before, and she outduels someone who's been trained. Now, a couple of arguments here that a lot of people kept giving me about this was the fact that they said Kylo Ren probably wasn't trained. You know, Kylo Ren didn't complete his training. Okay, well, Rey had 0 training, so if that goes for Kylo Ren, that goes double for Rey. They say, well, Kylo Ren probably, was inexperienced fighting with lightsabers. Well, so was Finn and Rey. That was the first time they ever used the lightsaber. If that goes for Kylo Ren, that goes double for Rey. Well, Rey channeled the Force. Rey used the Force to beat Kylo Ren. Well, Kylo Ren is a trained Jedi/Sith. Rey didn't even know she had the Force until 45 minutes ago. If that goes for Kylo Ren, that goes double for Rey. So that doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, some people would say, well, Rey fought with the bow staff, so she'd be good with the lightsaber. Only people who have never trained with a sword and a bow staff can say something as foolish as that. A bow staff, the point of the bow staff is that you can fight with any part of the weapon. All right, that's its strength. The point of a saber is to stab and cut. A bow staff does not fight like a sword. They are two different weapons. You cannot translate the two. It doesn't make any sense. So no, she should not have won that fight with Kylo Ren. Finn got his ass whooped like he should have. Now I'm going to explain why these are all problems. We're going to take it back from the top and work back to the Kylo Ren fight. Her with the lightsaber, her having the flashbacks and the memories does nothing for the film. There is no exposition there. There is nothing in that scene where she picks up the lightsaber and has memories could be completely cut out the film and nothing would change. Why? Because the scene did nothing to advance the character and nothing to advance the plot. It was just there because reasons. One way to make that scene a lot better, and I think this is very important. One thing that would have made Rey a lot better as a character is if she had a character flaw. And for me, I was thinking it would have been fantastic if Rey had abandonment issues. Now here's why. Because not only would it be consistent with the story, she was abandoned when she was a kid, she lived by herself for say 15, 20 years, that's consistent. That makes sense. If to not change the overall story we have, let's work with what we have and keep it consistent with what we've seen. We've seen that she's lonely, she's alone, so let's give her some abandonment issues. Let's make her a fucking character, alright? So, what would have been consistent is if in that scene where she touched the lightsaber, she gets a memory of the person who left her. And the person says one line. The person says, I promise to come back for you, so stay here. Now, this adds a lot of depth. It's one line, but it changes everything in the film. And the reason why it changes everything is because now we understand why she's still there. Let's ask ourselves this question. If the person who left Rey never told them they were coming back, why would she think that she's staying there? Because reasons? Because the plot? I don't know. Give her some depth. Give her some depth. She is waiting for someone to come get her. She's waiting for someone to help her out. She's waiting for her family. That's all we know. We don't know why. I mean, her family could have died years ago and she'd never know. We don't know any of this. The film's too vague. So in that memory, if the person says, I promise to come back for you, it would explain why Rey is still on that planet, and that scene would not be as useless as it was. It would actually be very useful. Kylo Ren with the Knights, I have no idea why she had that premonition. No idea. Makes no sense. Could be cut out from the film. It doesn't do anything. So that's one thing. She should have had abandonment issues. She should have had weaknesses. She didn't really have very many weaknesses in the film. And I think having her feel abandoned and her feeling lonely would change the entire dynamic of the film. It would have made it a lot more, it would have given it a more, it would have been more of a fucking story. You know, and I think one thing here I want to explain is the scene with Finn. Now with Finn, we've gotten a consistent coward. We know Finn is a coward and that he's scared, but we don't know diddly squat other than that. He's supposed, I think, really what Finn was here, Finn was our scapegoat. In the advertisements, they made it seem that Finn was going to be our Jedi just so they can bait and switch with Rey, but I saw that shit coming a mile away. I was hoping that both characters would be Force sensitive and we'd have 2 Jedis instead of 1, but I don't know, maybe Finn is Force sensitive, who knows. But that's kind of how he was in the film, kind of our scapegoat, and that's a little unfortunate because in the end, Rey ended up doing everything anyway. I mean, she didn't even need Finn to come to Death Star 2.5 to come rescue her. She did that by herself. So, excuse me. But we have Finn being a coward, and that's the only thing really consistent with his character. And that's unfortunate that that's all we've got until the end when he does go back and help her out. So that's an alright character arc, but it's still very surface level. One thing that I wanted to see more was in that scene where Finn was leaving and Rey was just kind of like, hey, don't leave. And Finn was like, I'm scared. And Rey was like, but the plot. And Finn was like, I'm scared. And Rey's like, but the plot. And then she just kind of lets him go. No. If she would have had abandonment issues, she would have worked in one of 2 ways. Usually, people with abandonment issues work in one of 2 ways. They either push people away because they're scared of losing people, so they don't want to get attached, or they're eager to please. So you could have played that scene in one of 2 ways. Instead of having her just be like, hey, person I just met 5 minutes ago, don't leave. It could have been, hey, my friend, please don't leave. Or she could have been a bitch and say, oh, you know what? You're a coward. Go run away, you piece of shit, and left. This would have shown that she was hurt, that she was in pain. In one of those 2 extremes, one of those 2 ways. Instead, we got her, just her, hey, I need you for the plot. And he was like, I'm scared. That was a missed opportunity. We really could have gotten some characterization for her. And instead, we just got meh. So there's that. And so then now let's get back to the final fight with Kylo Ren. Now, like I said just earlier in the film, her lack of experience, here's why it's a problem for the rest of the film. The problem really isn't so much the fact that it's a woman who beat Kylo Ren. That's not the issue. I would have the same problem if Finn beat Kylo Ren. The problem is that the rest of the story has just lost its tension. Why? Because Rey has already defeated her obstacle. She's already beat Kylo Ren. The problem here is there's nothing to look forward to from Rey. I had a lot of people on the comment thread saying when Kylo Ren comes back, he's gonna be stronger. And I'm sitting here like, Kylo Ren's the bad guy. Kylo Ren's the obstacle. I remember someone put it best on the comment thread, and they said, how are we supposed to take Kylo Ren seriously as an obstacle if he's the underdog? And I'm like, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. If Kylo Ren's already been defeated, where is the tension? Where is the room to grow for Rey? She should start teaching people how to use the Force. You know what I mean? She already figured it out. And that's the problem. The film the series loses its tension for the rest of the way. Now we're going to have to rely on the other Knights of Ren to challenge Rey. And if they don't challenge Rey, then that just more confirms her Mary Sue status. And that's horrible. That's a terrible character. Because it makes the film boring. It makes the story boring. And that's the issue with the Mary Sue. That's the ultimate problem. They don't grow as characters. You don't see them evolve. They're static, and it's like, oh, okay, we already know you're going to win. Just go ahead and do it, It's like Super Mario with the star power. Except the star power's on all the time. Now, here's what would have been a lot better. At least here's what I think would have been a lot better. It could have gone one of 2 ways. It could have been that Kylo Ren beats Finn and Rey at the same time. He beats them. And here's why it would have sucked. Because people would have said Kylo Ren was injured. He should have won regardless if he was injured. Why? Because thematically it would have shown Finn and Rey that they can't beat Kylo Ren even when he's injured. Now they have more stakes. They have more of a reason to get to his level. Now they really need to bridge the gap. Because even a weakened Kylo Ren is better than two people who just picked up a lightsaber. But if he's already defeated, there's no tension. So he should have beat them both at the same time to give them a goal to obtain. Or you could have had this. You could have had Rey defeat Kylo Ren by being clever. Instead of out-dueling Kylo Ren, because she's never held a lightsaber before, you could have had it be consistent with her character. The character has already been established to be clever, to be able to think outside the box. So, you could have had it so that she used her terrain to her advantage. I don't know, she threw snow in his face, she cut the trees down around her, she trapped him with the trees by causing them to fall on top of him. Something like that. Something that would have been consistent with her being intelligent versus her being the messiah of the Force somehow. She just could use the Force because reasons. I don't know. And so those are and that's the problem narratively speaking. And here's the thing. It's not the problem with Rey, because a lot of people are going to call me a misogynist because I'm calling her a perfect Mary Sue. It's not that she's a woman. It's that she doesn't struggle. And a lot of feminists don't understand this about storytelling. The point of having a protagonist that is weak, that needs to grow, is so we can get a story. A lot of feminists thought Rey was a great character because she's so cool, she's badass, she's kicking butt, she's doing this. No. Rey would make a fantastic antagonist because Kylo Ren now has to get to her level. But Kylo Ren's the bad guy. People are sitting here wanting Kylo Ren to get stronger. What? Word? No. Let's wrap this up. Well, in order to really give our character Rey some depth and close her character arc for this movie, is to have her abandon Finn. So keep this consistent with the movie we got. Have Rey promise Finn that she's going to come back for him and leave. Now, why is this fantastic? This is fantastic because Rey is now put in the place of her parents who left her. Her character arc of her dealing with her abandonment issues has been complete for this film. She was the one who was abandoned at the beginning of the film. Now she's the one doing the abandoning, but now she has an understanding of why she's leaving. She's leaving so she can grow stronger to protect her friends. That's a fucking movie. That's a story. Having a character be one way at the beginning and have them different at the end. That's the point. But if the character is static the whole time, there's no tension. There's no story. It's boring. It sucks. And those are the issues with Rey being a Mary Sue. Alright, so final thoughts, man. Once again, the film had a lot of missed opportunities, but again, it was a lot of fun. I think one thing, I want this video really to help the people who are writers or want to be potential filmmakers, to try to help avoid these mistakes. The real final thought here is this. If you're a fanboy, fangirl, and you really love Star Wars, man, please understand the point of criticism is not just to say that something is bad. The point of criticism is to get it improved upon, okay? It's to avoid these mistakes and make it even better than what it was before. That's the point. The point isn't to say that the film was bad or the film sucks, and the point isn't me being a butthurt misogynist and I'm all angry. The point is to correct problems so that you writer, you filmmaker, you screen, whatever, that you can craft a better story by avoiding these problems. That's the ultimate point. It's not about saying that Rey was a super bad character, the movie's bad and all of that. The point is to say we can do better than what we've gotten. It would have been nice to have more of a rehashed A New Hope and having an original, strong female protagonist. Not strong in a physical sense, but strong in that she deals with her issues and then she becomes a better person. That's the ultimate point of a story. Just because a female character can kick butt and is awesome and does all, it doesn't mean that she's a good character. And we should move away from trying to make empowered female characters and try to make good, complex, interesting female characters. If you really want to make women equal, if you really want to improve the status of female characters, making them super strong and badass and being able to beat everything isn't the way to go about it. You want to make a complex character that grows and changes throughout the film, not a character that can do everything and beat everyone because the plot demands it. Because it just makes the story boring and it just looks like feminist propaganda. So that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys got something out of today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, have a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.